Ray, you mentioned some issues, Bishop Road expansion, the airport. I'd like to talk about the Bishop Road work for a minute. How important was it to keep those ramps open, and what do you say to those people who think that the decision is favoring business over residents, and how do you strike that balance between the two?
How to strike that balance is really the core issue. It truly is the most important thing. Any city that's functioning anywhere in this country has a dilemma of saying, how do you cover increased costs? And all costs go up. They go up for a homeowner, they go up for a business owner, they go up for a city. So how do you cover those costs if your revenue doesn't go up? Well, the revenue can only go up by taxing the individuals, by taxing the residents, or by increased revenue coming from the commercial sector. We obviously don't want to tax residents. We have been opposed to all tax increases. The last 4 years we haven't raised taxes, and there's absolutely no discussion about raising taxes. So the only way that we can increase the revenue for the city is by making sure that the commercial businesses are strong, that the commercial sectors, the districts in the community are able to be strong and healthy and grow, so that the tax revenue coming from those businesses goes back to the community so we can fund operations. Now, the Bishop Road property and that whole project, $13.8 million project, happened to be, I believe, the largest commercial district in the city. Now, there's some other parts of the city that are also very important, commercially speaking. But in terms of a very small area that has over 70 businesses in it, some of those very, very large, some very large retailers in that area. And of course, you've also got 2 large apartment buildings with a couple of thousand residents. And those are really more commercial property, where the owners of those have invested literally millions of dollars in those properties. Plus you have residents that live, of course, in my district too, but you've got a lot of commercial activity there. And to shut down that area for the equivalent of 120 days, okay, to not allow people to go onto those ramps and off those ramps, it wasn't so much the period of time that they would be closed, although that would be devastating potentially, but also the idea of changing traffic patterns, where now all the traffic, all the people coming in and out of that area on a regular basis suddenly would not be able to do that for months on end, and very well could change their permanent patterns, their permanent shopping patterns, and driving by these businesses. As it is, we lost 6 businesses in that area just with the closing of one ramp, because after all of the discussions and everything was all said and done, only one ramp was kept open. We still lost 6 businesses so far, and there's still a possibility. There's still a number of other ones that are very shaky. I don't want vacancies in that area. I don't want, because vacancies and blight breeds blight. And we don't need that happening in our West End. We need to be stabilizing that area and growing that area and not making it weaker. And so I thought it was very important. We put the Bishop Road Task Force together, which was made up of businesses, residents, political people, planning and zoning people, elected officials, appointed officials, and the task of that group was to try to make recommendations to council on what to do. That task force, including the mayor, all voted to appeal for 4 ramps to stay open. When that came back to council, we immediately changed that to 2 ramps because we knew we didn't have the budget for 4. So council never recommended $600,000 as a lot of the people may lead you to believe. We recommended 2, and that got changed to 1.
And Gil, your thoughts on that same subject?
The ramps really alarmed me terribly when the issue came up. On your website during that time, you were advocating for the ramps, all 4 ramps, to be opened. You chaired the committee. Most disturbing is there was never a financial impact study done to tell us what to do. Meaning, should we keep 1 ramp open? Should we keep 2? Should we keep 4? Once you establish what needed to be kept open, which had been utilized, then where did the funds come from? But to automatically saddle the entire tax-paying base of Willoughby Hills with $280,000 or $129,000, whatever, with no justification is a dangerous thing. If we keep making these decisions without the facts and the resources to back them up, that could lead us to a serious financial issue. Secondly, my dentist is right at the corner of Bishop and Route 6 Chardon Road. He's had his best year ever. I had to talk with him, and after a while, if you want, I'll give you his name. So it hasn't affected him. The businesses that were going to collapse or are marginal probably did so because of the construction area in that area. I'll grant you that. But it doesn't mean all of the businesses are going to collapse or are going to suffer.
So how do you strike that balance between residential and business concerns?
Well, who do I represent? I mean, if a business owner, they're critical to the city. But if the business owns a business in the Willoughby Hills, does he vote? Who votes in the city of Willoughby Hills? The residents. That's who, if you want to delineate who I have to represent, that's where my representation lies. But you still, and I would agree with Ray, you have to weigh that with the interests of business. You just can't say your interests are not important or not critical. They have to weigh in, absolutely.
So it takes courage to make the right decision, even if someone isn't a voter. Okay? It takes courage to stand up and say this is the right thing to do for the residents, even though some residents may say, like you said, the businesses don't vote. Well, the businesses don't vote, so that may cost me votes, but it was the right decision because ultimately it's going to save taxpayer money for the residents.
That's where we differ.
We have a little bit of time left in our first half, but we don't really have enough time for another topic. So we're going to take a brief intermission right now, and we'll be back and add the extra 2 minutes on to the second half.
Imagine the opportunity to be the first in your family to earn a degree. Gain knowledge that changes your life forever. Learn with faculty who share a common goal, your success. Experience Lakeland Community College. Apply your skills to make a difference every day. A Lakeland education is accessible and affordable. Credits easily transferred. Lakeland Community College. Opportunity starts here.